So as the impeachment inquiry, of course, moves forward, there are calls for Biden now to step down. They're growing louder. A top Washington Post columnist, in fact, is saying he's just too old. It is David Ignatius, who has always been supportive of Joe Biden, now calling the 80-year-old to drop out of the 2024 race. He says it's been the subject of dinner table conversations across America this summer in his op-ed, and notes that a recent AP poll where 3/4 of Americans thinks the commander-in-chief is too old for another 4 years, and there's a new Quinnipiac poll showing half of voters who support Biden also say they are open to another candidate. But who could that be? Let's talk about this and also some Bidenomics breaking right now. Let's bring in a former deputy assistant to President Trump, Sebastian Gorka, the one, the only, the host of the Gorka Reality Check, airing right here on Newsmax every Sunday, 7 and 10 p.m. Seb, great to see you.
Thanks for having me, Bianca. That was quite some breaking news coverage there from Capitol Hill.
Really, I know. It's great when you see it first and, going the gaggle, that she's usually in the throngs of that. We'll let her go pick up some more detail. I want to get your take, though. Now that the impeachment inquiry is here, it seems like Washington Post and others, are saying the quiet part out loud. But behind closed doors, it's pretty loud. Even Joe Scarborough over at Morning Joe, the once Republican, is speaking about the Dems chatter. Let's play this.
Everybody we talk to, every political discussion, it talks a lot about Trump, but when it comes to Joe Biden, people say, man, he's too old to run, isn't he? I mean, he's not really going to run. When I say every discussion, I don't mean 99% of the discussions. Every discussion. We got it. I asked Reverend Al if he was hearing it all the time on our show this past week. He's hearing it as well. So, we often will complain about Republicans who will say one thing about Donald Trump off the air and another on air. Well, let me just say, Democrats off the air will say Joe Biden's too old. Why is he running? On the air, they won't say that.
So if they don't want Joe, isn't it getting a little too late? And also, Seb, there's that Kamala issue, too.
Yeah, when that brain-dead zombie drone, Joe Scarborough, who, by the way, we still don't know how that intern died in his congressional offices. That would be nice to get to know how that happened. When he says Joe is past it. And by the way, Bianca, did they just realize how old he is? Did they think this was like a 23-year-old in the White House? Oh, he's old. Oh, that's
there's an awakening. Yeah.
He's only been in politics for 49 years. I guess they didn't know how old he is. And when Ignatius, let's be clear who Ignatius is. He's not a journalist. He's not a Washington Post columnist. He's a literal mouthpiece for the intelligence community. He is there's a direct part. When we were kids, you get a tin can and some string. That's what he has to the CIA. Okay, when his buddies in the intelligence community are giving him a script, Biden's in trouble. We need to, cling to power. Can you just float this story? That's what's happening in the Washington Post. But whether it was accident or not, the ultimate insurance policy, when you've got a black woman as your vice president, how did they get rid of him and stop somebody who's even less popular than Joe from becoming the president? I'm going to buy stocks in popcorn, because to try and parachute Gavin Newsom in as a white guy and to stop Kamala, I tell you what, it's going to be a fun 14 months.
Yeah, it is, and we're going to watch it every step of the way. Biden had his economic folks yesterday. They're filibustering. They didn't want to talk about impeachment inquiry from the briefing room, so they tried to spin all the Bidenomics. The War Room just put out something a few minutes ago, Seb, talking about Republicans' Maganomics put ultra-wealthy, overworking families. It's kind of rich coming from someone who has Hollywood mogul Jeffrey Katzenberg out there raising money for him. And Katzenberg himself has said that Joe Biden's superpower is his age. Maganomics, so Bidenomics isn't working, so now they're trying to coin another term here. I mean, at some point, the gaslighting is getting to a new level.
Well, this is the delicious thing about the people we face. So they may be devious, they may be soulless, they may be hiding in Alaska on 9/11 and lying about where they were on September the 12th, but they're all cretins. I mean, there is no big brain among them. There's no equivalent to Newt Gingrich or Victor Davis Hanson on their side. Thank the good Lord. And how do we know this? The mere idea that you brag, you come up with this phrase, Bidenomics, and you brag about the fact that, $6 a gallon of gas in California. You brag about 200 container ships off the coast of Los Angeles. You brag about, we put 12 men on the moon, Bianca. 12, no other nation has done that. We went to the moon 6 times. And under Biden, we ran out of baby formula.
That's right.
And we're going to go with Bidenomics. This is how cretinous these people are. Doesn't mean they're not dangerous, because you can be an idiot and dangerous. But, when they fell off the stupid tree, they hit every branch on the way down.
The good thing, though, Americans aren't stupid, and they're seeing the effect of Bidenomics. They're seeing the CPI numbers yesterday. Inflation is up, gas prices are up, and times are not good for folks who are just trying to put food on the table. Wish we had more time, Sebastian. We'll see you, of course, soon, and always Sundays at 7 and 10 p.m.
Sunday night. Be there. Thank you.
You bet.